YouTube channel. I am Alana Newman. I'm the founder of Brand Therapy, and today we're going to talk about rebuilding your brand after a mental health crisis. So, as many people know, there's a mental health epidemic going on. We have skyrocketing bipolar, schizophrenia, dementia, depression, psychosis, a lot of really scary things that people lose capacity and they lose self-control and they say things they regret and they do things they regret, and then they have to pick up the pieces and go back to work and rebuild trust, and that's a complex process. So this isn't a video just about one bad tweet or an awkward interview. This can be about insulting everybody you know, whole groups of people, and just burning bridges left and right. So even the smartest, most creative people, they might experience something like this, and it can be tough to rebuild. So if that's you, or if you know somebody that this applies to, then keep watching. And I promise that there will be a roadmap here for recovery and a group where you might consider joining that can help. So psychosis is one of the bad ones, and people lose touch with reality. They can go primal. They can say things that scare people and repel people and make them never want to speak to them again, block them, unfollow them, put them in jail. You know, they can position themselves as being kind of a menace to society and dangerous. Lots of bad things can happen. On the gentler side of mental health crises, you can just say things that are off, and that people, they just don't like you anymore. So you can get in trouble online. You can have your social media accounts basically canceled. People can report your account. They can report your websites as malicious, and you could be deplatformed. So it gets pretty serious, especially when social media is a lifeline for people building their businesses. And you could be fired from your job if you say the wrong thing online. It's very serious. So there's the health aspect of it, and then there's the social fallout. And your personal brand is kind of everything these days. It helps you take care of yourself. It helps put food on the table. And so getting this right is really important. So a crisis can not just hurt you, but it can hurt the people associated with you, which is one of the reasons why you might get blocked or you might get reported, is because if you work for a company or if you are collaborating with other people, they might not want to be associated with you anymore. So they'll block you, or they'll denounce you and publicly kind of like cut ties and to protect themselves, to protect their own brand, because it could be bad for their income and their ability to provide for themselves if they're too closely associated with you and you're on an insulting rampage. So the first thing you need to do is get safe and get stable. And you might need help with this, because if you've lost touch with reality, you probably aren't making good self-care decisions. So you got to stabilize your health. And what a lot of mental health issues are is mitochondria dysfunction, which you can look up. It's metabolic. So I'm a big fan of the metabolic psychiatry movement. I would definitely take advantage of the library and read Dr. Christopher Palmer's book called Brain Energy, or Dr. Georgia Eads' book called Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind. And what you realize in the metabolic psychiatry movement is that your brain has two fuel source options: the glucose option or the ketone option. And it runs much better on ketones. So that means you need to get into a state of therapeutic ketosis so that your brain is functioning off of ketones, which is a much more peaceful fuel source for it. And you might need a coach, a health coach, to be able to achieve that. And I'll link to my favorite coach. Her name's Mia. She's a friend of mine. Recover with Mia. That'll be linked below. But getting into ketosis can help a lot. Going on walks, getting your metabolism healed can help with your brain. And stop drinking, stop taking recreational drugs. If you need to be on a pharmaceutical to get you into stability, that, I don't love big pharma, but that might be a necessary step just to get you stable so that you're not hurting yourself. You can go to the emergency room if necessary. And then don't go online until your mind is stable. And then after you've achieved some safety and some stability, write a list of all the people and the groups that you hurt. Get screenshots, take an assessment of what you've written, and records of the harmful content that you produced, and just own what you wrote, and try to come up with a personal accountability statement. So you might need to make a public apology. You might need to admit in public that you have an illness. That's a good option to getting people to understand. And once they understand, they're more likely to have empathy. And then there will be a path to forgiveness, and you can rehabilitate those relationships. You don't want to overshare, but you do need to acknowledge. And that's where the repair and the trust rebuilding comes into play. So direct apologies are better than blanket statements. You can reach out to people individually, the people most effective, the people who you wanted to work with, but now you kind of blew it with them. Focus on impact. So I know that my words caused harm. I regret that deeply. Here's my plan. You can share stories of other people who have similar illnesses, who have been public with their story, but there needs to be some type of public acknowledgement, and then, set a boundary about what you're willing to discuss and what you're not. And from this point on, you have to show people that you're well. So you need to create better content that is not insulting, that shows you're thinking clearly. And if you're not to that point yet, just kind of maybe go do nature walks instead of being on social media. Just take a break from social media. There's an app that I like called Screen Zen, and you can protect yourself from yourself by limiting your screen time and by just shutting off all apps, so that you're creating friction so that you don't even go on social media. So you can get that set up on your phone or have somebody set that up for you. And you can talk about your healing journey, but don't over dramatize it. Just keep it clean, be professional. And then eventually you'll start the rebuilding process for your whole brand. So you're going to define your new pillars. Maybe one of your new pillars for your social media content is health, resilience, commitment to a holistic approach to your business. Like, a lot of people with mental health problems will have mindset adjustments that they need to change, especially like with sleep and nutrition. Like, they'll be dismissive of sleep. Well, sleep is actually really critical for your mental health. So incorporate your new commitments to health in your social media content. Service is going to become really important. So when you're rebuilding your brand, you have a lot of goodwill to catch up on with people. And the fastest way to rebuild goodwill is to be of service and to create a lot of value. And you have to give more than you take, because people are weary, and they might even be wounded and traumatized from what you put out there. So you got to make it up through some serious service. Especially before you ask for sales. And then rebuilding that social proof is going to be a challenge, because you might have lost followers. You might have lost your accounts. So I know somebody who had an account with 10,000 X followers, and then they got canceled. They lost that account, and now they only have like 200 followers with the new account. So these are traumatic losses sometimes. But there's ways of recovering your accounts. getting specific people to vouch for you, starting small with individuals and then having them go on camera and say, look, they didn't mean to say those things. I've been working with them. They're getting their life back on track. I vouch for them, and you guys should give them a second chance. That can be really powerful. And then for your sustained recovery, like, you really need to be a part of a community that can check in on you and keep you accountable to your health goals, and just be friends and who get it. And I think I'm building a group like that could be helpful to you. It's called Brand Therapy. It's on my school page. It's linked down below. It's school.com/Alana. I am very involved in the metabolic psychiatry movement as a fan, and I would love to be that support to you. So I've built a lot of health conferences. I'm not scared of big, hairy health problems, and I can point you in the right direction. And then I can help you in that process of recovery, getting your brand back in order. So, you're more than your worst moment. You have a big contribution to make to this world, and you have infinite value. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of friendship, and you deserve to be able to carve out a living for yourself, even though something bad happened. So happy to be that support system for you. So subscribe to this channel and join the Brand Therapy group. I look forward to meeting you.